geoholic.
All right, let's get going here.
Let's do it, man.
I just had lunch. I'm feeling good.
I'm happy. You get a little hangry sometimes.
I was borderline hangry.
Yeah. When your calories start going low, I can tell. You're like my wife. I need to start keeping a Snickers bar in my pocket or something. A little
Does
bit.
it go diva?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
That's awesome.
We got mostly women at work, so we keep Snickers.
God bless you.
Keep Snickers around. That's awesome. All right, let's get this guy in here. John, if you would, real quick, just do a self-introduction.
Yes, sir.
Name, who you're with, and what you do.
My name's John Downing. I'm got two companies, but I'm the co-founder and chief product architect of Leteligence, and I'm also the vice president of LETEL Metrics, both out of Georgia. Nationwide.
Nice.
Presence, though.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, so I'm guessing LETEL started first and then Leteligence after that. So what's LETEL do?
All right, so LETEL, I need to go back a step if
Sure.
that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, out of high school.
That far back. Okay.
I can sum it up real quick. Out of high school, didn't go to college.
Okay.
Started with a shovel, silt out of a manhole.
Yep.
I mean, that was the path. Worked my way up, operator, every machinery, heavy equipment. GPS came out. I was the first dozer man that had it on my tractor.
Yep.
So I learned it. I was the operator first, then learn GPS, then etc. Keep going, move up the ladder, start estimating, doing civil heavy civil estimating. We'll go out there and try to quantify a moving target. Essentially, you know, we're moving. You know, the construction company I was with at the time, 30,000 yards of dirt a day.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, fat me out there sweating with an RTK rover. You know, it was just you can't quantify correctly.
So as soon as you're done, you got to start all over again, right?
Yeah, it was a never-ending thing, and it's hot in Georgia. I don't know if y'all been there.
Yeah,
It is not Colorado. It is like it's hot. Yeah, you will lose 25 pounds on one topo. So, went out there. Well, the drones came out. Were just coming out with RTK.
And when was this?
This was 2016.
Okay.
I was like. Went to the owner, said, dude, they're coming out with a drone that can do what I was doing, but in 15 minutes. Yeah. And then I can go back and run volume counts and next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So asked me how much it was. I was like $65,000. He been buying bulldozers, so he, you know, okay. You know, that's like a tank of fuel, you know?
Yeah, right.
So gave me the okay, got it. Went to the first Pix 4D training class. Okay. Realized I had a $65,000 drone, and everybody else didn't. And I had a gaming computer, and everybody else had something they brought from. My Windows home. You know, I realized when I came back from that one class, we were ahead. So I told him, I said, hey, let's make a business out of this. Like, I'll do my job estimating, and I'll go talk to other dirt contractors. And I'll show them what this drone can do. And for 2 years, with no income, I'm taking this little drone after work, doing these things, trying to help earthwork guys find change orders. Or, you know, find bust in the topo because it was based off GIS from who knows when.
Right.
It wasn't reality. Zero is just because y'all called it this elevation don't really mean it's that elevation. That's just what we're calling because that's what was localized here. Anyways. Started LETEL, got into land development for home builders. You know, introduced them how to do it in house. They really started to love it because it was bringing to life what was on paper, and photogrammetry just got swallowed up quick by everybody. So it was a very short life with photogrammetry. And then everybody started asking for LiDAR. Started doing LiDAR, same thing. But I was running into a new problem. These LiDAR files, these orthos, you know, we're doing work for surveyors, engineers, architects, you know, everybody in design. And then we send them the data and we're waiting. Or the guy in the field's waiting. You know what I mean? I used to be the guy in the field. So after so many years of this with LETEL and providing LiDAR and sending all these deliverables and then getting paid good money to do it, then they want to know what I think.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this would be a lot simpler if we just had a software. And I've been coming to these shows since then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is a very heavy. These are people, geospatial scientists, and what, you know what I mean? Like, what is that? I don't, that's like so far outside of my realm. But I realized, what I had done with Leteligence, the software, is I had figured out how to streamline deliverables into the field, because that's where the decisions are made. That's where the guys that are making money for the companies need it, but they're still waiting 2 weeks on how to do a site balance. I don't know if y'all site balance that term, but we're trying to keep dirt in the limits of disturbance. So, my heart went out to those dudes. I'm a field dude. I started with a shovel, and everybody I came to in here started from the top down. They developed software from the top and pushed it down. By the time it made it into the field guys hated it. They didn't use it. They would still pay for us to come do it and then ask me to run the numbers for them. It's just another reason why we decided to do this. We was already providing LiDAR. Now we can upload it ourselves. It's data agnostic software. So what I realized is I solved a problem for dirt guys that is accurate. I mean, speed and accuracy have to be a thing or nobody's going to use it. What I realized is I created a geospatial platform that don't care what kind of data you got. It is now a visualization layer on an iPad.
Right.
That's awesome.
Who else here got that?
Yeah.
I've looked around. I've been looking for it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I'm the first one that did it.
Yeah.
With my own money.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Sure. So I decided to come here to GeoWeek this year. I decided a month ago. And
when was the launch of Intelligence? When did you
Leteligence?
Yeah, Leteligence.
So I put basically about a year of nothing but focus into it. And so I completed it in a year. It's been out, I guess, for, we'll say 6 months now.
Oh, wow.
But we've got national contracts already, and heavy civil contractors.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
In the Southeast right now.
Okay.
They're heavy in it because they can. There's softwares out there they have to use that are $25,000 a key. If you're doing it yourself, I'll give you a cheap. You're doing all the work.
Yeah,
you
right.
just hit import, compare, and the math's there. So, so I get 3-6 months, I guess. We got lucky and got in the startup pavilion.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm not seeking funding.
Right.
Everything I make, I'm keeping. So, or reinvesting into what we're doing. We've 100% cash flowed our business from the get go, and we're going to continue to do that because I want to always be field first focused. You know what I mean? Like,
and is that visualization component? Is that the biggest need for the guys in the field, the boots on the ground guys?
It gives them equal footing against an engineer, against a surveyor, because they know it. They just can't show it.
Right.
Prove it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But they got, is this a PG station?
Go for it.
They got GP ass is what we call it. You know what I'm saying? They can tell it feels off. Something don't feel right.
Oh yeah.
But they couldn't explain. They couldn't verbalize it. These aren't big word vocabulary folk.
But so if I can say what I think you're saying is like, if you give them something that like on an iPad, you've flown the base, you've flown where you are now, they can go to that point that doesn't feel right and say, no, actually here it is right here. I see it.
And
it's right here.
And it's not in a grid.
Exactly.
It is to ground LiDAR, so it's 1 to 3 centimeter dots. They can't see it, but you're getting a better, like, they don't realize what they're getting now. And I made it to where you can just export it as a CAD, as a KML.
Yeah.
Like, here, how about we do apples to apple comparison now? Like,
Yeah.
there's no more like it's this roughly this area. It feels like we're fat or short.
Yeah.
2,500 yards. It's here's the polygon you drew. Share it.
So what percentage of those general heavy civil guys, in your experience, how many of those have incorporated drones and LiDAR?
Well, medium meaning 100 to 200 employees, probably about 100 to 200 tractors, probably in the $25 million range. They're doing it in-house. They're not happy with some of the softwares that are out there now. And so we've really gotten lucky because 2-3 years ago, I was losing work because of two companies specifically that came out that were top down, pushed out, photogrammetry based platforms, but nothing was LiDAR. Now they're doing LiDAR in house because they've got, it's a $25 million company.
Yeah, right.
But they have no way to display it. So they're using something they don't even like.
With more points and more data
You know what
to
I'm
deal
saying?
with.
And they're paying way more. So it's like, it's an easy sell. Like,
sure.
And I know half these guys because, when you start out small, like me, and you make friends, and then them friends go to other companies, and then them companies grow, people. And I've been at these drone shows. Like I've met so many people that started at one drone company, and for some reason they go away every 2-3 years. I don't know what it is. And then these guys split. So I know a lot of them. So, really just wanted to come to this show, reveal our software, and it is currently field first. I'm a dirt guy, so it's dirt, but that's only a percentage of what it can be used for.
Right.
If you're a surveyor, you can now visualize a lot fit plan. I don't know if y'all are familiar with those.
Oh, sure.
You can visualize where that house is sitting. It's falling off the slope because it's falling off the slope.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to walk the site no more. You can visualize it in 3D, and so
cool.
It's saving everybody.
What's the feedback been so far at the show?
Dude, I ain't gonna lie to you. So this is not the intended space I meant to be in.
Yeah.
But everybody, dude, I don't know, probably 60 leads yesterday.
Well,
just yesterday, and probably another 30 today. I mean, next week's gonna be crazy for me, unfortunately, but in a good way.
In a good way.
Good way. It's just, man, that's a lot.
So what's the next growth look like? You want to expand out to other markets geographically, or other areas that are outside of just earthwork contractors?
And so that was the brainchild of what I did, and then the realization of what I created. So we're talking I'm just going to say a tenth of the market.
Yeah.
Whoever starts to use it the most
is where
we're going to develop.
Yeah.
I got who I wanted off the first run.
Right.
Now, whoever wants to adapt it, whether it's surveying, I got an engineer that's using it to show his customers what he's doing on paper, because it's on paper. Contours are contours on paper. I mean, it's black and white. If you got a good engineer, sometimes they'll use some color, know. But it really just whoever's using it the most is how we're going.
Sure. Makes sense, right?
I'm reaching out to, which I've already talked to several, OEMs, because it's data agnostic. You know what I mean? Like, we can put it on your platform as just a shoot it over as deliverable. When you're done editing, we'll hold it for you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can still retain ownership of it. So, I don't want to sell out to some dude for no reason and not be in control of what we're doing. Right. And,
Yeah. So LETEL is a drone service provider.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And GPS modeling, machine control.
Machine control as well.
And earthwork.
Okay.
Everything I did before.
Yeah.
LETEL does. And then Leteligence actually does it.
Is the second
as well.
Yeah.
It's the next evolution of this for other people. Because look, I paid $150,000 for our just one of our LiDAR units. I saw one 15 grand here. You know what I'm saying? So my ROI just went down $1 million a year. You know what I mean? So
that's great.
I've got to adapt.
Yeah.
And
like you said, if all these guys are collecting their own data.
But you know what's going to be the differentiator is the visualization.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad I have it.
Sure.
Now when you show a crappy CAD file, it looks like crap.
Yeah.
I mean, their surfaces, this means something now. Like, in CAD world, drafting 3D polylines, text boxes, that don't mean nothing until you have a 10 surface built. So now you're comparing the actual, I'm talking like tight.
Right.
You're tight on tight. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make
totally.
sense?
Oh, totally makes sense.
Sometimes I'll say, you know what I mean? And I'm like off in La La Land. So,
yeah, but given what we talk about all the time, we actually know exactly what you're talking about.
But, it's there for everybody to use. My whole goal in life is just to help people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because not everybody gets a chance to just run with the ball like I did.
Yeah.
And like I told him earlier, like everything I do is just like constant blessing.
Sure.
Obviously there was 18 to 40 years of hard times before that, but you know what I mean? Like everything from here on out, I want to make people. Surveying as an industry is getting limited on people.
Oh yeah, we know that very well.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And legislation is going to have to change at some point. RTK has got to be recognized. I mean,
yep. Yeah.
We can set the points, like we just can't stamp it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you localize to it or you just shoot it raw, you'll see we have. I mean, precision.
Yeah.
So,
how does it work with software? Like, do you get a patent on it or something?
Ours is trademark,
Okay.
copyright, everything. Every keyword on there is copyrighted.
Yeah.
So, every catchphrase I use today, as I've already coined the phrase, as they say.
Yeah.
So,
So what do you do? Where's the next evolution of the software itself? I know you want to get it out to more people, but I'm sure you got the boys in the lab, figuring out what's going to work.
So in all this, we created our own software development company because that made sense.
Right.
And, I feel like out of the people that have came to the booth, the next mining aggregate type, Corey, those individuals are going to adapt because that's the next evolution. And then I feel like utility, DOT, surveying, and then probably engineering, but I don't know.
What about like a farming application?
I'm not against it. If there's farmers that want something that applies to them, let me know and we'll make that happen. Having accurate maps is just nice. You know what I mean? So, I go back to when I bought that first drone that was $65,000. I bought every sensor that went with it too. So I had these multispectral cameras, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna sell every industry. Got out there on farms trying to sell basically fertilizer maps because that's what Pix4D said I could do. And and I'm talking to real farmers in Georgia that have got thousands of acres, and they're like, hey, you know what, that's cool, man. And they broke it down like this. They said, we only got 30 years to get it right. We can't afford to get it wrong 1 year. And you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's inherited.
Yep.
So they're just going to stick to what granddad showed them because that's what got them to today.
Yep.
And they're not. And when you're dealing with those 5% margins, I can save you 5% on fertilizer. But I can't save trust. Right. He trusts the old way. And I had an agronomist on staff, to be honest with you, and we couldn't make it work. So, had surveyors, engineers on staff. Had a wonderful engineer, to be honest with you. I love him to death. He realized how good we were together. And
they do exist.
They do. Yeah, there's some of us out there that people like.
He called me. His name's Dwayne. I love him, but we paid him way too much, I guess, because he started his own engineering company. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad at him because...
Well, sure. It's kind of your model,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it hurt because 50% of our revenue left, but we're still providing what we're good at to the same people, and really we still complement each other. And so, surveyors use us around the country. Engineers are not using us around the country unless they have to, but it's I don't know, man. I don't know where we're going. I'm here.
There's such a massive market out there.
Yeah, I'm here, and if we want to go there, let's go. You know?
Oh, I love it.
So,
yeah. Well, how do people find out more?
You can go to the website,
okay.
Letel.com, and that's LETEL. It's actually the Letel Metrics. I apologize. LETEL METRICS. I'm from Georgia, so some of them M's might sound a little off, but and then we have Leteligence, which is LETELIGENCE, like intelligence, but the pun on words there.
Love it. Yep.
So and I created how-to videos to keep it simple.
Yeah.
This world is complicated.
Yeah.
Geospatial, just the word is confusing to me right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to keep everything transparent, easy, usable.
Oh yeah. Simple cells.
Field friendly. It has to work in the field, or it's not going to work.
Yeah. I think you're checking a lot of boxes there.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
Sure.
I wasn't anticipating the reception we received in the back corner of the first timer, and I just booked it a month ago.
Yeah.
Literally bought my first suit.
It looks great, by the way.
I'm a cowboy boot dude with jeans and a hoodie. And so I got 3 custom suits tailored, got all their shirts to match. So
something tells me you're going to be wearing those suits a little more, though.
That's cool too. That feels good. Though.
Right?
I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's the first sport coat I ever had. So
it grows on you. I can tell you that.
What I mean? I feel like I'm walking around here like I'm in a magazine.
Yeah.
When I look in the mirror, it's completely different.
Oh, you're like, who the hell is this asshole?
I'm avoiding mirrors. I got to my contacts. I was like, that don't exist. That don't exist. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
All right, John, anything else you want to get out there before we let you go?
It's been great.
Yeah.
I'm super intrigued.
There's a lot more depth in my story. If y'all ever want to talk further about
we'll do that sometime.
Getting to where I've gotten wasn't on accident.
Right.
Oh, sure.
In taking the path. Biggest thing is people that don't take the straight and narrow path that they're supposed to, because they were preaching college for a long time and doesn't necessarily, look at student debt. I mean, it's crazy.
Don't get me going.
And if I don't know, don't get me going. I can teach you what they want and make you successful now.
Yeah.
And you don't have to wait. I mean, like I did, you don't have to wait 45 years to get there.
Sure.
You can do it.
Yep.
Dude, we got drone pilots that are 18. They got company vehicles driving around this country. I mean, making $60,000 a year starting salary, with 401 matching 401k.
Sure. Coming out of high school.
Out of high school, I give them a gaming computer and a freaking iPad and a cell phone and a work vehicle with a fuel card.
And they know what to do with it already.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want you to already know what to do. I want to train you because I don't want your mistakes. You know what I mean? So I'm a little hesitant when people come in because I'm like, what do you know?
Yeah, right.
Because you can't. I have to unteach a lot of stuff.
You inherit those bad habits.
You do. Yeah. So I mean, anything I want people to know is just stop by booth 745 and.
There we go.
Sign up.
Letelmetrics.com.
Sign up. I love it.
Letelmetrics.com or Leteligence.com. If you want the survey, if you want the software, or you want the survey, let us know.
Awesome.
And we'll hook you up.
Great to meet you, man.
So,
John,
it was good to meet
appreciate
y'all
it.
too. I appreciate you having me at the booth today.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So,
all right.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
All right, man. Just
yeah, we're good.
All right.
Let's go.
Rocking and rolling.
Rocking and rolling.
Let's get on with this.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
I'm feeling great. How about you?
I'm feeling fantastic.
This is a good day working out so far.
Almost beer time.
It is almost. Well,
close.
remember, there's a lot of happy hour events this evening, so you
Pace
need to
yourself.
Yeah, it's all about pace yourself.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Keep going these liquid deaths. That'll do as well.
Yeah, at least for a little bit longer.
Let's get our guest in here.
Let's do it. Real quick, Jeffrey, name, who you're with, and what you do.
I'm Jeffrey Martin. I'm CEO, co-founder of Mosaic. We build geospatial camera systems. We're based in Prague, Czech Republic.
Oh my gosh. How did you get into this, Jeff?
I have been doing spatial imaging for 20 years.
Okay.
My first project in 2004 was a website combining georeferenced 360 panoramas with a map.
Okay.
This was before Google Maps existed, before Google Street View existed.
Yep.
And I've been doing some kind of geospatial imaging since then.
Yeah, just it's in the blood, huh?
Yep.
How long ago was that you had that software or that platform?
Yeah, that was 2004, 2005 that I launched that.
Wow. Okay.
Because I'm thinking I remember that, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So talk about the hardware you guys are developing.
So, yeah, we build geospatial camera systems. Here's one of them. This is called the Mosaic 51 camera.
Okay.
We started shipping this in 2020. We have two other products right now. One is called the Mosaic X, which is similar to this. They're both cameras that are built to be mounted on cars, mapping streets and nearby assets to the streets. So our customers are doing data collection for or on behalf of municipalities, departments of transportation, utilities companies, telecommunications companies. They're inspecting all kinds of assets, telephone poles, utility poles, wires, pavement, street signs, things like that.
Okay. And it's photogrammetry though, right? Is it LiDAR or is it?
So this is just cameras.
Just cameras,
and we have multiple integrations with different kinds of LiDARs as well.
Yep.
So we have our own product, which is called the Meridian. It combines either this or the Mosaic X camera with an INS and HESI LiDAR.
Okay.
And it's a fully integrated plug and play, you set it up and you can turn it on and just start driving.
Yeah.
It's very easy to use, very robust and reliable.
Yeah. And it is like a solid piece of hardware.
It is solid. It's very solid. It's been shipped to 50 countries worldwide. It's in all kinds of harsh environments.
Yeah.
India, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Colombia, hot places, cold places. It never has any thermal issues.
Yeah.
We've had customers that have, had collisions with parking garages and the parking garage lost. Camera won. So
that's awesome. That tells you something right there.
What's the speed on those high speed ones, or how fast can you drive with it?
So the cameras run at up to 10 frames per second, depending on the spacing of your images. We have customers who are driving highway speeds.
Okay.
Capture one image every 10 or 15 feet.
Yeah.
And they can do this all day.
Yeah. Gotcha. So what makes your product different than some others that might do the same thing?
So there are a couple of other products that look a little bit similar. There's a device with a bunch of cameras on it. Mm-hmm. What is special about this one is it's really all self-contained. Mm-hmm. You don't need anything else.
Yep.
You connect power and everything else is in here.
Okay.
The GPS is in here.
That was my next question.
Storage device is in here. You connect the power. You can use a web browser on your phone or a tablet or laptop to control it. You can unplug your phone and it keeps on running, but it's very much like self-contained. Everything that you need is in here.
Gotcha. And who are, what's the target audience or target customer for this?
So a lot of engineering companies who are doing these kinds of inspections for these larger public entities. And surveying companies who might be doing kind of smaller types of data collections for, like city-size entities or things like that.
Yeah. And what about what does the processing of all the imagery look like?
So there's a onboard storage. It's like a USB stick.
Yep.
You're done driving. You take it out of the camera. You put it in your computer. We have our Mosaic processor software. It can do all the stitching. It can do the anonymization. We're working on a web publishing where you'll be able to view the results directly on a web page. We have Esri integration, so you want to get the images into Esri or things like that.
Nice.
So we can do all the processing for you, and then a lot of our customers have some different processes for where they want to publish the imagery, and we have done a lot of integration work with our API to make all of these possible.
Gotcha. And what does the price point look like compared to a LiDAR system?
It's generally, depends. You have your little handheld LiDARs that cost $10,000.
Sure.
These
are a little slam thing or whatever.
These are suitable for maybe some smaller data sets, but they're not really for kind of industrial grade data collections. Generally, LiDAR systems are quite a lot more expensive than this.
Yeah.
A lot of customers don't need point clouds. They need accurate imagery.
Right.
Some of them are doing photogrammetry, some are not. Some are just identifying assets in the imagery, and that's all they need.
That's all they need.
Some want to do both. It really depends. But in terms of just standard kind of street view type data capture, this is much easier, much more affordable than a LiDAR system.
Right. So after you do the collection and you process it, like how accurate, I guess, is the imagery? Like, can you measure off of it, that type thing? I mean, would you consider it survey grade accurate, or how do you classify that?
So it can be if you want to do photogrammetry with the data, you can. We have a new integration allowing automatic 3D reconstruction of only the images, and you can get like a millimeter level of accuracy with the images, with the caveats of the shortcomings of photogrammetry. So things that are shiny or translucent, and surfaces that don't have features on them could be problematic. But for things like the street surface, it's great, and you can make a dense point cloud from the images that is much denser than what you'll get with a Regal or ZNF or device like that, at the cost of additional processing.
For sure.
Interesting.
What do you got over there, Sean? I see you perusing the website.
I am. Talk a little bit about some of the other products. I mean, is it all? There's a backpack one here. Like what's the whole breadth of what you guys offer?
Right. So we have a backpack. It's called the Mosaic Explorer. So the camera that we have here on the table, this is built to be mounted on a car.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to carry that around.
No.
Trekking around.
Exactly. And we had a lot of people who were like, "Hey, I want to do this on a bike, or I want to do this on foot, or on a scooter, or I want to do this indoors, or I want to do this like in an oil refinery." So we built this backpack. So the cameras are above your head. The rest of the device is, next to your back. It's very comfortable. It's pretty lightweight. It does have LiDAR on it as well. So you've got these very high-resolution cameras and LiDAR with GPS, INS, everything else. And it's totally hands-free. So it's not mounted on your front. It's mounted on your back. You can go, upstairs. You can, do it on a bicycle or a scooter or a motorcycle pretty securely and safely.
Right. Is there a data collector that you hook up to it? Or a controller of some sort?
No, again, you just use your phone.
Oh, it's on the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the web UI is on your phone.
Yeah.
If you need to monitor it, you can. But otherwise, you just leave it in your pocket and let it run.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense. And is there a pole-mounted version as well?
We do not have a pole-mounted version. We've got the we mount on a
backpack,
car or in a backpack.
The backpack,
the backpack device, you could mount it on a pole if you wanted to, though.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So what are people saying? Like, what's the biggest pain point that they have? Is it now all the processing and they don't know what to do with all the data, or is it still data collection?
I think it is how to really efficiently process the data. Like, you can do the data collection, but then you have 12,000 miles of data. Like, what are you going to do with that?
Right.
Where are you going to put it? And this is not an easy problem. Like, it really is a tremendous amount of data, whether it's point clouds or images, or it doesn't matter. It's really a lot of data. So, doing this in a really easy, coherent way is still a challenge. I think we've gone a long way with our Mosaic processor software to make it as easy as possible. Mm-hmm. But for these massive scale data collections, it's still a challenge to efficiently move this much data and make it actionable.
Actionable is it's great that it exists, but for other people to do something with it.
Right. And the end product isn't like the point cloud or the images. It's where are the utility poles exactly? How tall are they, and where are they, and are they leaning over compared to how they were last year?
Right.
And things like that. And I don't know, change detection, for example.
Oh, yeah.
This is a particularly tricky thing. Like, this requires accurate data over multiple data sets and combining it in a sensible way and making that actionable. And I think this is still sort of an unsolved problem. it can be done, but it's still pretty hard.
Yeah. And I'm assuming like the processing time is far less than like if you're processing a large point cloud.
Yeah, so depends a little bit. It depends how you're processing it. If you're doing photogrammetry, then it can be a lot more processing than with a point cloud.
Yeah.
Because with lasers, like you get the points and they're points. But yes, you still might need to clean the point cloud. There's a lot of things you might need to do to a point cloud that are still a little bit difficult. With images, it is a lot more straightforward. So you have the images, you stitch them together, and sometimes that's all you need. And then you can run it through some, image detection, object detection, and things like that.
So there's an AI component then to it.
Yeah. So I think, as far as asset detection and things like that, there's been a lot of AI stuff for a while, but I think that's going to evolve pretty quickly now, and you'll start to have some layers on top of that where you'll be able to sort of talk to your data set and get insights that would be difficult today. I think what's going to come in the next year or two will start to be a lot more intuitive, and you'll be able to just ask it questions.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've heard that. But I mean, it's talking to your data set is kind of the next step, because it make it intuitive, conversational. Well, now tell me how tall they are, or I now do this, and that learning module will start figuring that stuff out. So what's the next evolution for the hardware? Are the sensors going to get better and better and smaller, and
we'll have 1 million megapixels soon. Everyone has a roadmap. Everything's getting better all the time.
Sure.
This product has been around for a while, and it's still sufficient. I think, with phones, you've got 12 megapixels in your phone. It's been that way for 10 years.
It still takes great pictures, and that does well.
Yeah. So I think there is a little bit diminishing returns. You don't need a gigapixel image of the street. At a certain point, you can read a restaurant menu,
right?
And
through the window of a movie car,
right. So there are we do get requests the utility pole people. They're these little round badges. They want to read the numbers on these little round badges, and it's okay. Well, yes, if the pole is next to the street, but if it's 300 feet in the middle of a field, there's certain limits. You don't want to at a certain point, it's just not possible. But I think, we will be seeing cameras with better resolution, better dynamic range, and more accurate optics that will allow you to make some better 3D reconstructions without LiDAR.
Sure. Yeah. It's awesome. Cool stuff. What else? What else should I get out there before we let you go?
It's always good to see what's new in the industry. I think.
What have you seen?
What's raised your eyebrow around here?
There's always way more handheld SLAM scanners than I thought would be possible in one industry.
Right.
And the number of companies selling these, it's still it's kind of surprising to me. I'm still curious if there really is that big of a market for all these seemingly very similar devices. But otherwise, I think it's a really healthy, growing industry. We're kind of part of our job is making sure the world doesn't fall apart, because that is when things get troublesome, and that's never going to go away.
Right.
I think there's still a lot of companies who are checking stuff just walking around clipboards. So I think there's still a lot of people that we need to get on board. The whole digital train. It's great to be here, and it's a really healthy, growing place to be. So
I got one last question, just because you said that, and because that's one thing that's always bugged me. You see the guys with the clipboards and the levels on taking measurements, and you're like, man, there's 1 million different better ways to do that. But is going from a clipboard to a small SLAM scanner, is that should it evolve that fast, or what in your opinion is the next best path forward? If you're taking clipboard measurements, what's the next step? Because I don't think it's that SLAM scanner over there that no one knows how to use yet.
I think something I haven't seen yet is more of an on-demand kind of okay, I'm this town, and I just need some data from this neighborhood, and I don't want to have an RFP. I don't want to contract people. I just want whoever is capturing data all the time, and they can like go and get that data for me. And I think this is something that might happen eventually in the next few years, because I see a lot of
It's almost like data on demand.
Yeah, like there are places that are captured more than once by more than one company for more than one stakeholder, and this is inefficient. And I can imagine that this might be made more efficient eventually.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, because then that's the first step. It's like, instead of sending the guys out there, let's see what we can collect or see what someone can grab for us quickly, and then you'll have all the same measurements.
Yeah.
And then go through and then buy one of these and buy the car and have it running around the town all day. But I like that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to get out there, Jeff?
That's about it.
How can people find out more if they're interested in picking up one of these guys?
Mosaic51.com.
Mosaic51.com.
I like it.
Good stuff. Well, hey, thank you for your time, Jeffrey. Really appreciate it. Great to meet you.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
And awesome product.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.
There he is with the finger again.
Yes.
All right, let's get this going. We've got Andrew with us. Andrew, real quick, name, who you're with, and what you do.
My name is Andrew Middleton. I am the owner of the Map Center, and I sell maps.
The Map Center?
The Map Center. It's the oldest map store east of the Mississippi. It's been continuously operating since 1950. I'm the fourth owner.
Oh, my gosh.
There was a time not long ago when every town in America had a map store. Very few of them survived. And the one that I'm now the owner of, the third owner who owned it since 10 years before I was born, he had a great few decades selling road maps and maps of the United States and reference materials. And for like the last 15 years, he was sort of in struggle town. What is a map store supposed to be now? And he kind of kept doing it out of momentum. I don't think he had the capacity to do anything else. He'd just been doing it for so long. He loved it. His customers loved it. And even though he was hemorrhaging money, he kept doing it. And in 2023, he said, there was an article in the Providence Journal in Rhode Island. And he said, if you want to own a failing map store, send me an email and I'll give it to you. And because I'm the kind of idiot who would if you give me a coupon for a free punch in the face,
right.
I'm the kind
That's
of
what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'd be absolutely, what a great deal.
And I was free is free.
Free is free.
Yeah, why not?
So some people are like, oh wow, you bought a map store. I'm like, no, it was given to me, but don't worry, I still overpaid.
It's great.
So wait a second. Did I hear you say at one point in time, like every town had a map store?
Yeah.
Historically?
Yeah,
At some point? That's crazy.
I mean, if you think about it, like how did people move through the world in a time where there were both automobiles, where people the middle class had an unprecedented ability to move to places that they didn't necessarily have family.
Yep.
Where people forget that there was a time where most towns had travel agents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And in the same time that you book a flight, you get an 8-fold map of Aruba or wherever it is that you were going.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of normal. And then there were the gas station maps. Oil companies were using maps as a way of advertising. So here, have a map of Canada. Go drive to Canada.
Nice.
Use our gasoline along the way.
Yeah.
Even when maps were occasionally free, there were usually lots of places all over the place where you could buy them, because what else? How else are you going to find out what the capital of Ohio is? You're going to wait for Wikipedia to become a thing. You're going to wait for Netscape Navigator to come out.
Sure.
That's just how people got information.
So your map store, it wasn't family owned.
That's right.
Okay. So I didn't know if it was like a generational
You
thing.
made a conscious decision to do this. It wasn't bequeathed upon you.
Right. If only I could say it's not my fault, I swear.
Yeah,
No.
I'm doing it in my father's legacy. I'm just trying to, no, it's not that.
Right. This is a pile that I intentionally stepped in.
Okay.
Despite having alternatives.
Okay, so but we're going to dive in. But the first question I think everybody wants to know is, and you said it, people would go and get road maps.
Yeah.
Those are free now. So what kind of business did you actually get, and how is the selling of road maps going for you?
All right. So the business as I picked it up at the beginning of my chapter in 2023, the previous owner was selling a lot of wall maps of the world, the United States, the state of Rhode Island, Massachusetts, regional stuff, selling to a lot of traveling salesmen, truckers, people who just want to have something printed and put on their wall. And that was most of the business. I'd say that maybe like 30% of his business was like Rand McNally road atlases, the kind of stuff that was like on the floor of my mom's 1996 Dodge Caravan when I was growing up. And like I don't think it's a bad idea to have something like that in your vehicle as a backup. I think it's a good and prudent thing to do.
Right.
But that's like less than 2% of my sales, and I'm delighted by that because like Google is giving away information. Google makes a good product. Apple Maps is a great product. I do not want to be competing against Google. That is, I'm not Jack Dangermond over here. Like I'm not a business genius, but like if someone's giving away a product, you probably shouldn't be in the business of trying to sell it.
Usually, yes.
Yeah, right. Like that seems like good advice. So I have those products available. They're around, and I still have a number of mostly older folks that just like the aesthetic quality of having a paper map. I think there's also some existential terror about like a thing that was a major part of your life no longer being required by anyone. I think that like scares people a lot. So yeah, I still have older customers that buy that product. They are not going to live forever. And the products that I am pivoting into selling are more like map as art, books about geography. People are curious. Like the reason that social media exists is because people click on endless stories of just like kind of neat facts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and
You know what he's talking about?
I know exactly what he's talking about.
and what if you could have that experience without a screen?
Yeah.
You know, what if you had a map that had enough detail that when you put it in your house and you look at it every day, like you learn something, a tiny new thing about it every time.
Right.
That's special. I don't sell information. I sell a good story. I sell a connection to place. I sell a connection to identity. Like there are a few things more important than the places that make people who they are.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, where are you from?
Yeah. Chicago.
Yeah. Great town. Like,
ask him the question, Andrew.
Okay. So my go-to question whenever somebody walks in the door, I say, what's a part of the world that's special to you?
Yeah.
And so yours is Chicago. Heck yeah. I've got some great Chicago content. I've got a map of Chicago made by the Soviet Union. That's all in Russian.
That's awesome.
In case you're curious how to, spell all those streets in Cyrillic. It's fun. Like a map,
awesome.
in many ways, is like a selfie with a crazy filter.
Sure.
It's just a selfie that captures like your entire community and all these people and all these places that mean so much to you. And like, selfies are doing great right now. Like that is a I would buy stock in selfies. And if you've got a map that makes people feel that same way, heck yeah, that's going to do great.
Yeah. I like the way you put that. I got to tell you, like one of the coolest thing I've ever bought on vacation, and like when I'm on vacation and I see a map store, I'll go in it because I'm a land surveyor. So
you've got to.
Maps are appealing to me. I bought and you'll know this, like a Johnson's, like I don't even know what year it was, but map of Illinois. I mean, like authentic, just so beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And, got it nicely framed and everything. It's one of the most favorite things I have hanging on the wall. It's
absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm a believer. I get it.
And what about you? Come on. What do you got?
He's not so excited.
What's my favorite place on?
What's a special place for you?
Special place? The Outer Banks of North Carolina.
I have a series of Outer Banks. Okay, so because there are some places that have a really disproportionate footprint in public imagination. The Outer Banks, it's geographically, it's not a big place, but like, it's a place that sticks with you.
Right.
And I've never had the pleasure, but like a lot of my customers have been requesting that. So like you are on my radar. I wish I had more for you.
Well, it's because I think some of it changes a lot, obviously, because what's land and not land is constantly evolving, and
job security.
It is a sliver of land out there, so there's not. It's mostly water with a little sliver of land.
And each map is an invitation to adventure. Like at its core, it's an invitation to go someplace, even if it's just in your imagination, and to like visit that place that you care about. And imagine like doing some great fishing and getting out on the water and like feeling that salt spray, even when it's February and you're in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, we asked this question I remember asking this question around because I didn't have a good answer. We had like 4 or 5 people on a podcast episode. And the question was, what's your favorite map?
That's a
so Andrew, I know it's impossible for you, but can you give, maybe limit it to a few, but what is your favorite map?
I will say that my favorite one now.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the Map Center is in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, which is right next to Providence, Rhode Island, which is the home of the Rhode Island School of Design.
Okay.
Very, very nice design school. I met a Masters of Illustration student who was just graduating, and her final project was called RISD Cry. And it's a map of all the places where she and her classmates have cried.
That's great.
And
I don't know why you said and I laughed. But
both of those are fair. There are a lot of reasons you might cry. And like on the back of the map, it's all the reasons that people have cried. And like some of them are genuinely heartbreaking. Some of them are hilarious. Like one of them is like, oh, my partner who I love so much like got their dream job and it means I'm moving away from this place that I love. And I'm like, oh, that's bittersweet. That's beautiful. And then like another one was just like bad beef chow mein. And then, like,
that's awesome. That is cool.
Right, like I'm never going to be a RISD student. Like that ship has sailed. Like that's not really me. I've been on the RISD campus. I love that I can visit someone else's RISD, and like I can explore a place that I already know through somebody else's eyes, and I think that's really special.
Yeah. So where do you get the maps that you sell?
All over the place.
And like, are you just like on,
why you got a map?
eBay?
I could
all
buy
this stuff.
No, okay. No. Mostly it's just people whose work I really like. I'm actually a deeply insecure individual. Like I make maps. I am a cartographer, but like I'm delighted and terrified that I'm constantly surrounded by people who are way better at this than I am. And so like a strength that I have is like I can sell it. Like hey, I saw your portfolio. You've got that really cool thing online. Like, if I buy 10 of them, will you give me a 30% discount? I'll bring that in, and I get to be the one to introduce members of the public who had no idea that maps are so cool in the 21st century. And I get to be the one to show them something that they didn't even know that they could ask for. I mostly just like friends, colleagues, like on LinkedIn, people are, showing off really cool things. And like, there's some parts of the world where people make maps all the time. Like I feel like everyone makes a map of New York City at some point. But if you make a map of like a really small place that like, only 8 people live there. But if you make it like good enough and specific enough, like there may only be 8 people who live there, but you're gonna sell 7 copies. And so my goal is just to have a map of, so that anyone who walks in my door can have something. And that's really hard, but it just means that I can weaponize my internet addiction. Into just like browsing cool stuff and being that I like it. It's weird. It's a part of the world I don't have yet. Add it to the collection.
That's awesome.
Take my money.
That is so cool.
What about cartography? So you say you're a cartographer.
Yep.
Is it like you and 3 other guys? So like, well, how is that profession going these days?
I mean, it's not lucrative. If that's your
well, there's a lot of professions that aren't lucrative.
Sure. I was just at the North American Cartographic Information Society conference in Louisville, Kentucky in October. And, there were a few hundred people there, and there's like National Geographic and the Washington Post and, universities. Like, I think people are pretty comfortable with the idea that like data science is hot right now. But what is cartography but like data science that's made pretty and readable?
Right.
And so like what good is your data set if you can't get people to understand it? And if you have a broad audience, you got to be prepared to make broad audience content. You got to be able to speak people's languages, and that is hard, and that is a technical skill, and most people suck at it. And there are definitely instances where like sufficiently sophisticated people at this can make a fair amount of money. I sell a book at the Map Center. It's an exclusive. It's called Maps on Vinyl by Damian Sonder. Damian Sonder used to be the senior cartographer at Apple Maps. Like, there are people with some really cool jobs that you may not think of as being kind of a big deal, but like, map making is like the secret science that makes the world run. And most people don't know that. And, I get to stand in front of strangers and pretend that I invented it. Like I get to take all the credit. It's all stolen valor.
So what is a let's call you a map salesman do at a geospatial conference when everyone's talking about point clouds and LiDAR and
other than look for a real job?
I mean, other than that, yes,
Yeah, other
because
than that?
you might find one here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was a pretty like normie GIS guy for 14 years, so like this is still, if not my world anymore, like it's definitely, a well broken in pair of pants to me to step back into. But no, I was invited to do a little talk, which I just did. I think I'm sort of the tonal diversity hire. It's a lot of technical conferences.
Yeah,
it's like let's have this.
What can we possibly that's related but not really related, right?
Yeah. I think most of the talks around here are about like LiDAR resolution specs, and I'm doing my little goofy song and dance about pretty pictures in my cute bullshit store.
Cute bullshit store.
But like as you say, like it is impossible to be in GIS.
Yeah.
And well, maybe I won't universalize the experience. For me, I was making a lot of spreadsheets for other people to make spreadsheets out of. I'm in a GIS department. They toss me in a hole. I'm grinding stuff out for years and years and years and years. And for the first time in my career, I'm like talking to members of the public about like a thing that I do. And I'm like, I'm getting reminded by people that like what I do matters, and that feels really good. And I hope that my being here reminds people that like, we're all colleagues, we know what's going on, but like there are strangers who think that we do is actually extremely cool.
Yeah.
And if like to any like professional geospatial listeners, like I would definitely recommend talking to more strangers who are not in the field, and just like if you're having a bad day and what you do doesn't feel like it matters, like talk to somebody and like let them remind you that what you do is awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Back to the map center. Do you have like historical maps there as well?
I do. I don't have many of them, and the reason is because I think that age is not a great correlation with whether or not it's interesting. Most maps that like normal folks like you and I can actually afford to buy, like you go to an antique map store, if it's not like some hand-drawn thing from like the Middle Ages or something like that, it's probably like from the 19th century. It's probably mass-produced. It's probably made by an insurance company. And like if you're an academic researcher, awesome. Like those are really cool. Personally, I think they're boring. Meanwhile, map making has gotten so sophisticated. More people are doing it. It's cheaper. It's easier, which means we're getting stories from people who would not have been allowed to make maps 200 years ago. And like the maps are cooler. They're weirder. They're more colorful. They reflect our own age. And I also get to get my friends paid. And so I have some old maps. If you're interested, I can do some like, custom prints of some scans that I've got. But the ones that make me excited are the ones made by people who are still alive and paying rent.
No, I get that. That's awesome. So do you have like an online store?
I sure do. Yeah, it's at mapcenter.com. I figure that the thing that makes me different is that like I do have a brick and mortar store, and that's different, and nobody really does that. And also the kind of people who really like a paper map are also probably not the kind of people who really like an online retail experience. So I've got some stuff online. I do like a quarter of my business online. I would like to do more of it, but at the same time, like it's so special to get to build a place that people get to come and be stoked. That like I never want the online retail experience to be more than the physical in-person experience.
Sounds like you need to expand.
I'm working on it.
Sounds like Connecticut needs a map store.
Franchise.
That's right. I've got my eye on California. I miss her. I want to go back, and I think that San Francisco would eat up a map center. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you would.
There's nothing more Californian than not being from California. Everybody's got a story. Like anytime that door opens, like I'd be like rubbing my hands in anticipation. Like, you want a map of the Philippines? You want a map of Vietnam? You want a map of Spain, of France? Like, absolutely, we're ready for you.
So cool. TheMapCenter.com?
TheMapCenter.com. Pardon me.
Yeah.
The Map Center, www.mapcenter.com.
There you go. Anything else, Sean? It was awesome.
We got like 30 seconds. I wanted to ask you, you said the oldest map store on the east of the Mississippi.
That's right.
That means there's an older one.
Oh, you want me to shout out my competition? It's Metzger Maps in Seattle. They're fantastic. They're a great business.
I'm pretty sure if you're looking for the brick and mortar experience, they're not a competition because they're not shopping between the two.
I am not advocating for listeners to burn down Metzger Maps on my behalf. Do not do that. They are a great store. I have got my side of the country. They've got theirs. They do a great business. They are 100% hashtag goals. One day I would love to be half as cool as they are. They're great people.
That's so awesome.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story. This has been great.
Andrew, absolutely.
I'm excited to visit the website and make a purchase.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, guys.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
What a day, buddy.
It has been a great day.
Borderline record day, I would say.
I would say, yes.
Yep, man. We've
definitely a record amount of awesome guests. And I think this one will be no different.
1,000%. Amazing content today. Let's add to it real quick. What do you think?
I like it. Let's do it.
All right, Mohamed, real quick. Just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
My name is Mohamed. I'm with Trimble, one of the branches up in Canada called Applanix. Oh. And what we do is that we connect with different branches from Trimble to build the new technologies for the future and turn those into products so that the user could leverage those technological advancement, but in the form of tools and products in their future use.
Okay, so you are literally working in the lab, developing all these new things that are coming out.
But not in the basement.
Not in the basement, though.
Yeah, you have windows?
We do.
Okay.
Ventilation?
Yeah, right.
That's great. So, how did you first get hooked on geomatics?
That's an interesting story, actually. I was a computer science student back in the 80s, after spending a couple of years in computer science at the University of Alexandria in Egypt. There was a university professor from Germany that attended a conference in Alexandria, and he was talking about something completely new, which is using GPS for airborne surveys. Nobody knew what GPS is or airborne surveys in that university or that conference. So I attended out of curiosity, and once I heard him talking, I thought, okay, I'm just switching careers into geomatics engineering.
That's all it took?
Yeah, one presentation.
Wow.
And I ran into him. He's a good friend of mine. He's 92 now.
Oh, wow.
And he's alive and kicking, and he's a fantastic professor. And he was the reason for me to be in the geomatics world.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's really cool.
So I'm sure he's well aware that he changed your life.
And so many other people, he changed their lives as well.
Yeah.
And the name, by the way, is Professor Karsten Jakobsen.
Okay. Yep. Shout out to Mr. Jakobsen.
I'm sure he's listening.
He'll be listening, I'm sure. Absolutely. So, you're really into mobile mapping and stuff like that, right?
Right.
What's the single biggest misconception surveyors or geospatial professionals still have about modern mobile mapping?
Well, let's define mobile mapping.
Let's do that.
There are two modes of mapping, not a third one. One is static, when you have a piece of equipment on a tripod sitting on the ground, doing its magic while it's in a static shape. And the other option is mobile, where your platform is moving. And that platform could be a manned aircraft, a drone, a land mobile mapping system on a truck, or the same land mobile mapping system on board a train or on board a marine vessel of any shape or form. So that mobile mapping world or context is that your platform is moving at all times. Now, part of that mobile mapping world is land mobile mapping, where you have a truck carrying a bunch of sensors moving around to capture data and use that data to extract information such as asset management, street furniture, to check the health and safety of all of these assets that basically everybody's tax dollar invested in those assets.
Sure.
So is that the mobile mapping you're referring to, or the entire mobile mapping in general?
Whichever one you want to talk about.
Okay, so let's talk about the generic one, the mobile mapping that includes air, land, marine. That specialty started around the 90s.
Okay.
And I just got lucky as a student joining a grad school that worked heavily in that mobile mapping business, which was up in Calgary, a city up in Alberta, north of here, actually, in the Rockies.
Okay.
And that department was and has been, still is, one of the best places in the world to work with mobile mapping and invent stuff that surveys the world from moving vehicles. And I started with land mobile mapping and airborne exactly at the same time, two very challenging projects in 1992 timeframe when I joined the university. And I did my master's and PhD with the airborne and the land, merging multiple data streams from GPS, inertial navigation, as well as LiDARs and photogrammetry or cameras. So that's like four different sensors assembled in one big payload that was used actually on board the manned aircraft. And we had projects between the University of Calgary and the University of California, Berkeley, to do some forestry applications, as well as the University of Stuttgart in Germany, and to do some serious mapping, high accuracy, as well as the University of Ohio State. So all of that collaboration and kind of resulted in me traveling around the world, applying the technology we've been trying to develop, and educating other university members as grad students and professors, and learning from them as well. Yeah. So it was kind of a collaborative effort that were a whole bunch of people that had one objective, the passion to learn about this new thing and to try to turn it into a solid technology that will be here to stay. And it worked. And now what we have, if you walk around any exhibition floor in any geospatial conference, excuse me, you will run into mobile mapping products, thanks to all of that collaboration between all of these academics back in the early 90s, trying to build that new technology, which is mobile mapping, as opposed to the static mapping that used to be the prime mapping method back in the day.
Sure. Is the majority of mapping now mobile mapping, if you add them all together?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because a quick example, one of the companies that I had the pleasure to help enable them with their technology is out of Norway, out of Oslo, Norway. And these guys, they're called High Specs by Neo. And High Specs produces a certain type of cameras called hyperspectral scanners. They put them on board the drone, and that drone flies by. While it's flying, it's actually creating maps right here, right now, using Trimble technology called real-time RTX, which gets you the positioning accuracy of that drone down to a centimeter or half an inch right here, right now. I'm from the generation where we worked with GPS back in the day before the year 2000, where the U.S. Department of Defense had an imposed error for military reasons to protect the American military. And that imposed error used to be called selective availability. You guys are young, you didn't know about that stuff from the 80s. But that selective availability made GPS to have 500 feet accuracy.
500 feet.
Now we're talking about a half an inch accuracy. And I witnessed that in my own lifetime. So in my adult lifetime. So what this guy and the user using the Norwegian system, they're building maps right here, right now with the 1 centimeter accuracy, and which is a half an inch accuracy. And imagine the possibilities when you have that real time. You don't even need to take the data back to the office to produce that stuff. And that's what makes people like ourselves excited about going to work every day, because we can enable people to do that job because of our tools and our technology embedded in tools.
So just since I'm a land surveyor, I got to ask, those maps that you're referring to that company's doing, are they doing this without any like ground control points?
Absolutely.
No kidding. Wow.
Well,
I am going to be out of a job. It's official.
Something I could add is that there is a big misconception, and you actually asked about the misconception, and I'd like to address it. We have been brainwashed in a certain way that the best way of handling any geospatial data of any shape or form is to bombard it with ground control points.
Okay.
Let me add a very quick example. The United States government has one of the federal administrations called NASA. NASA one day, which happened to be 56 years ago, they sent a bunch of really talented people all the way up to the moon.
Hold on a second. Did they?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, they did.
We'll go with your story.
And they went back and they landed safely, if I might add. And they didn't have a single ground control point either on the moon or on the planet Earth. How did that happen? Well, I answered the question to myself back in 1993 when I was wrapping up my master's degree up in Calgary, and I convince myself that you don't need ground control points to do mapping. That was back in 1993. We're talking about 33 years ago.
I mean, Mohamed, that is sacrilegious to some people in this room.
And that's what I've been trying to accomplish with a whole bunch of other people that had the luxury of getting well educated in that domain, is that we're trying to spread the news that you don't have to live with the old school, the legacy surveying and mapping that we were taught back in. I was taught the same way before I came to Calgary, that ground control is the way to do things. You have to project everything in a 2D piece of map. Like today, for example, we're still using the legacy 2D maps by projecting stuff on a 2D environment while the world lives in 3D. As a matter of fact, it lives in 4D. So we're moving frames of reference today, and we're using something called Epoch. I'm sure you guys heard of that.
Oh, yes.
So when we are talking about a 4D world, and in the meantime, we're still producing mapping products on a flat piece of paper while we're not printing them anymore. They're digital. So why do we have to go back in the 2D world that we used to do 50 years ago, because we only had paper maps? So back then, we had to do it on a piece of paper, and we ended up with map projections. Map projections, you heard the names: universal transfer, locator, conic, projection, all of that stuff. When was that stuff invented? At least over 100 years ago, because they only had maps on paper. Today, we don't even produce the maps on paper anymore. We have them digital, but in 2D. Why are we doing that? Because it's a legacy.
Well, it's stuck in my brain on how I see it. Has to be I don't know if my brain can ingest it in a 3D environment.
It will be it needs a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it would be fantastic.
Oh, I don't doubt that. Yeah.
You might need mushrooms, but it'll be amazing.
It's similar to how some people in this room can look at a point cloud and see everything, and then others are like, that just looks like mushes of dots.
That's a very, very good analogy, because point clouds, when you look at them in a raw shape, they're all gray.
Right.
So there's no semantics in there whatsoever, and it's really painful to extract information visually, while our eyes have been produced to be fantastic. We are built to see great stuff. But when the point cloud, as you mentioned, the point cloud is just gray and dull, you really can't find anything in there. But then you colorize with a very simple rule, or saying, okay, the ground will be black, we go up, it will turn into green, and then yellow, and then finally red at the top. That little bit of colorization, we don't even have true colors yet. We're just massaging the point cloud. Then it starts to make a little more sense. And then you add a little more nature, like in the form of colorized by pixels, for example, from a simple image, and then wow, you see the thing in a very different way, and you start to recognize stuff. That's exactly the same when you are moving from the 2D environment in the 3D world. It will get a little bit of getting used to, but then you're actually living in the real world.
Right.
So that misconception of ground control or 2D maps in the current day, and so on and so forth, those are all legacies that people like us have been trying to go out and try to disrupt that legacy somehow, and convince people to move on and use the new tools and use the new industry standards, the new specifications of projects. And that's actually hurting some companies' businesses, because when a tender comes out from like a state government or municipality or a federal government, and at the back of that tender there is an appendix saying, here are my specifications, and they see 3D. I'm like, 3D? Who does that? Well, everybody does that today. You need to go with the flow. But there is a little bit of education needed. So that's why when I was a student in grad school, I attended so many conferences, and I learned a lot about the real world. And that's why the second I graduated, I joined a whole bunch of people from the academia, the private sector, the public sector, that devote a little bit of time every week in a volunteering sense, a couple of hours a week. And we organize conferences like these. We organize sessions, conferences. We address certain things so that people learn and everybody moves on. Because we were there at some point in time when we were grad students, hitting the books 24/7, but then you needed some information from the real world, and we learned from these conferences. So we're just paying back. And it works. Some people learn, but some people stick by the old school stuff, like the word ground control and stuff like that. We hear it all the time. every single occasion, I hear people saying, okay, survey 100 ground control points per a drone survey. The outstanding question is, if you have 100 ground control points in a tiny little piece of land surveyed by a drone, why do you need to survey by drone? You already have the 100 ground control points.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. So is that, like, the process you're describing, is that direct georeferencing?
Well, it could be direct georeferencing.
Yeah.
The proof of direct georeferencing is by the United States government NOAA administration, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Mm-hmm.
They've been using the technology of direct georeferencing since 2001. And it's actually the proudest project for me that I worked with the NOAA scientists back in 2001 timeframe, and I was one of the team members that contributed to pioneering their emergency response system.
Okay.
And that system has been there. The very first hurricane that we tackled was Hurricane Isabel in 2003. And last use of the system was last year in the California fires. And that, to me, was a project that we had many, many sleepless nights between the NOAA scientists and my team. And we ended up with a fantastic piece of hardware, an excellent piece of firmware, and amazing software developed by that group of people. The only objective amongst all of these people, the only common ground, is that we wanted to do a good job to produce a system that is really, really productive in order to do rapid response, so that we give the information needed, pass it on to the first responders like paramedics and firefighters to go in those damaged areas because of the hurricanes. They might end up saving lives. That was the only common ground between all of these guys in the United States and those guys up in Toronto, Canada, is to find a way to save lives. And it is, to me, it is the proudest project I ever participated into. Awesome. Yeah. And I still work with these NOAA guys. By the way, those NOAA scientists, they are the most modest people I've ever worked with. Mind you, they are the smartest.
Right.
So
yeah.
we run a quick, IQ test online. They're going to hit the roof there.
But you never know because they never tell you.
Exactly. And that was the beauty of this project all along.
Yeah.
And that was something that was way, way easier to convince these NOAA scientists how to go and use direct georeferencing. And they took it and they ran with it, and they've been doing it for 25 years. Now, direct georeferencing could be bundled up with a little bit of sensor fusion that we're calling it today, sensor fusion. So we respect every single sensor that you have on any moving platform doing mobile mapping, either air, land, like manned air or unmanned air, marine, land, whatever it is. We just respect all of these multi-streams of data and try to analyze statistically in a kind of smart way which one is better than the other, and we rely on that a little more. And if one of the sensors needs help in this point in time, we give it a little bit of hand. And if the other sensor is doing better, we rely more on it. But then a few minutes later, you end up with a change of heart because of, for example, you go and you experience some GNS as the night environment where you don't see the satellites anymore. Then you need help from another sensor like a LiDAR or a camera that it sees what's going on, and it helps the GPS when it disappears. Or you go into a tunnel, you lose GPS for a few seconds, and then you get out of the tunnel, you hit the satellites again, or you see the satellites again. So you start to use those satellites one more time, but you lost them during the tunnel. How do you deal with that? There are other sensors, and we respect these sensors. So that's the whole thing, is the harmony of sensors that you have today. There is not a single operating system today that includes one sensor, as opposed to what you used to have in the past. It's always multi-sensor systems used and leveraged properly in the mobile mapping environment. So sensor fusion is the case, not just direct georeferencing. Direct georeferencing is great in certain applications like the emergency response that we talked about.
Yeah.
But in some cases, you need to blend all of the streams of data in a form that relies on how good the data from this sensor now and how good the data from that sensor and at some point in time in the future, and blend that accordingly. Does that answer your question?
It does. Yeah, it more than answers my question.
Excellent.
So obviously you're a very intelligent individual. You surround yourself with extremely intelligent individuals, present company excluded, of course.
Of course.
How do you dumb this down in to the people that are going to be doing the work and incorporating, these new processes?
Well, if we're addressing the user community,
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer that the user shouldn't be the victim. I'm a strong believer that the user should rely on a reliable piece of tool, and it's our responsibility as vendors to spend the necessary time and work hard and work together with other teams of many teams surrounding us in order to produce the right level of professional grade tools that are seamless in nature. I'm from the generation where when we released the tool, we needed to train the user for weeks at a time because the tool was so sophisticated,
right?
And the user society was like a certified land surveyor, certified photogrammetrist, and so on and so forth. And you know how much it takes to become a certified land surveyor or a professional land surveyor in a specific state. And if you did a project across state line, you need the certification somewhere else. All of that stuff used to be the name of the game 30 years ago, and we used to train the user that way. Some of the user category used to be like a subject matter expert to touch a piece of data. Today it's a different world. The user now has options. Nobody reads an actual book anymore. People watch a YouTube for 10 seconds and learn something.
Instant expert.
Yep.
There you go. So we need really to target the user as a user that has a life, that has to move on with the life and do other stuff. And we do the heavy lifting on our side in the form of a tool that is truly a product, not a piece of science project in grad school. So that's my first target. Now, some of the situations will necessitate that the user has access to some details. In that case, we need to have some advanced level of settings or advanced level of access to the software so that more educated user that has a specific application or has a need that doesn't exist in an everyday tool, they can access stuff. They could dig deeper and find the solution. So it's up to us, the vendors, to work hard on producing the answer for the user that needs something happening here and now without any agony, and the user that wants to dig in to find a solution for something else.
Yeah, that's a big challenge.
It is.
Huge challenge.
So I got to ask, I was looking at the website, and you were talking about the first responder. That project sounds amazing. This is kind of maybe on the other end of it because I see a drone carrying an Amazon package. Is that a product that you guys are developing? And I mean, everyone's like heard about that. It's the PX1.
Right. So there are products all over the place to help the society, either in the kind of a confined surveying and mapping industry, that niche, or across the consumer world. So there is something like a lingo thing called the last mile.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we've heard of it. Yeah.
And that last mile has been evolving in the last little while, that basically you deliver a whole bunch of deliverable items by a big truck, and then you launch drones in the last mile to drop them at your front door and so on. So that drone, it needs to be operating independently. It needs to see the environment, to sense what's going on, and avoid crashing and stuff. So that's why in the robotics engineering world, the nomenclature for that is sense and avoid.
Okay.
So seeing stuff, avoid it. Similar to self-driving vehicles. You need to actually identify there are objects around you, like pedestrians walking or other vehicles driving around. Once you identify that this is a moving object, you track it. You find the shape of it, and then you keep tracking it. So you do identify it, detect it, and then keep track of it while it's moving around so you don't crash into it. So that PX1 helps the drone industry to do its job completely automatically without a human managing the drone, without a joystick or whatever control in a tablet or whatever means of controlling the drone. It does that on its own. And it uses, by the way, a Trimble fascinating technology called RTX. Remember when we talked about the 500 feet by the U.S. military back in the 80s and the 90s? Today we're talking about 1 centimeter, a half an inch accuracy in real time right here and now by that technology called Trimble RTX. And the story is long but nice and easy. Let's dumb it down. Trimble has access to thousands of stations of GNSS operating around the globe. It uses that to upload that stuff up to the cloud, processes that stuff, finds why GPS is only accurate to. I kind of sometimes, when I'm teaching that stuff, I tell them, okay, remember, when GPS today is used in real time, where you're using it for navigation, the accuracy of it is similar to the pandemic's social distancing. 6 feet, 6 feet or 2 meters.
Plus or minus?
Yeah, plus or minus 6 feet. So remember the social distancing. That's the current accuracy of GPS. Now, with the Trimble RTX, it takes that 6 feet error or 2 meter error and turns out to half an inch or a centimeter because of the infrastructure they built over the last couple of decades.
In real time.
In real time.
Yeah, that's like autonomous. Right.
That's autonomous.
Yeah.
And when you merge that Trimble RTX in real time with the PX1, with the APX, and merge all of that in one product like what we did, then your last mile becomes a very easy journey for a drone.
Uh-huh.
And one of the applications is not just the last mile delivery. One of the very fascinating applications up in Alberta, Canada, a company called Drone Delivery Canada. What they do is, using a manned aircraft, an airliner, when it lands at the airport in Edmonton, it drops the medical supply to nearby hospitals, and the drones pick that up and deliver to the hospitals.
Awesome.
And those drones are 100% automated. And because they have the technology, if there is a conflict where the airliners are taking off or landing, they stop right in the middle of the air until the aircraft lands or takes off.
Yeah.
And then they continue. And we have some videos of that were captured. It's a fascinating technology, and our team is very proud that they made that happen.
It's almost like that's where the organ transplants would go as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when you think about this business model, when they tried to take that medical supply and organ transplant by people and
the guy with the little cooler and
now it's done completely automatically, and these drones know where they're going and they drop the stuff where it's supposed to be, and it's cheaper, faster, more productive, way more efficient than a human being picking up the thing.
And you could probably say we'll save some lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, we got to have you back for a full episode because there's just way too much to unpack here. But I'm sure you got places to be. I got one more question for you.
Sure.
So for a young surveyor, geomatics professional, just getting into all of this, what skill set do you think will matter most over the next 10 years?
Wow, that's a complicated question.
Well, not setting ground control points. I know that.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to waive the ground control point education, but the very first recommendation is to think sensor fusion, because the single sensor is a thing of the past. You guys are young, but you probably heard of the theodolites and the total stations and things like this. So these guys were a single sensor, and it measured minimum amount of information. Today, we're actually having some sensors like LiDARs, for example, collecting over 2 million points per second. Imagine the possibilities with that sensor, while the IMU is measuring that location 600 times a second.
That's hard to fathom. Just comprehend that. I mean, that's a time. It's a speck of time I can't picture.
Yes. And actually, my own lifetime as an adult, I witnessed certain progress that is still fascinating. One of which is that we had some difficulty getting 4 satellites from GPS in order to position a simple static GPS receiver. Today, we receive over 130 satellites over 11 different frequencies. So we are, I don't know how to call it, drowning in data compared to what we were begging on our knees for some satellites just 35 years ago. So the world of sensor fusion is the present and the future. And when we think sensor fusion, that geomatics professional and that young survey professional will have a great way of actually doing their job if they think that way.
Yeah. No, that's great advice.
Yeah, I'm speechless.
On many levels.
Great. Yeah, right.
Many levels. What else? You got anything?
No. What? Anything else you want to get out there, Mohamed? That we haven't talked
I'd
about?
like to thank you guys for having this amazing conversation. It's
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good rest of the conference.
You too. Thank you.
All right, winding down. This is going to be the last one of the day.
I know. I'm a little sad.
Are you?
Well, we've had a lot of good conversations. We've met a lot of cool people.
It's been an amazing day. Absolutely. Always a great show. Familiar face, familiar name with us. Riley, if you would, real quick, just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
Sure. Riley Smith. I work with Trimble. I manage the monitoring, mining, and tunneling groups at Trimble. Surveyor by background.
Yep, remember that.
I've been at Trimble around 9 years.
Okay.
And kind of like to keep close to my roots in surveying. So a lot of what I do at Trimble relates back somehow to the surveying world.
Yep, good for you. So is the mining thing a fairly new endeavor for you? Or is that something
in the past couple of years? Yeah.
Last couple of years. Yeah. Okay, that sounds about right. And you guys have, what is it, Trimble Mine Insights?
Yeah, that's a new product that we just launched in November at Trimble Dimensions. And so that's been obviously a hot thing for me in the mining world.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Please do.
Sure, if I can lead in.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Go for it.
That's
so shameless.
Yeah, not so shameless.
So I mean, the history of it was at Trimble. We've been looking at all of these different industries where geospatial plays a big role, right? And you guys know there's a lot of them. And the one that I've been focusing on is mining. And we know, of course, there's surveying and mining and all of that. But the one thing I noticed when we were talking to mine companies and surveyors in the mining realm was data capture isn't really a problem anymore, right? They've got drones, they've got scanners, GPS. It's not really a problem. I don't need to teach someone about scanning there. They're well ahead of that curve. But the big thing is a lot of the time they either are not using the data effectively, let's say it's taking a lot of time to process, a lot of time to get through, or they just don't know how to handle all of it. That makes an impact on the mining operations, right? Because we can get a point cloud, we can get an image, it looks great, everyone loves it. But there's so much you can do more with that from a mining context.
Yep.
And so that's really where the Mine Insights kind of formed around. And so we partnered with a company called Streos, a company here in the U.S., and came up with this product, Trimble Mine Insights. So it's a software, but the kind of key thing about it is there's several different AI models within it that have been trained on geospatial data. Primarily that's point clouds and imagery for different mining specific cases. Right? And I can run you through a few cases, but the kind of three areas where we focused on is like safety cases, design conformance, right? Kind of like a civil engineering case. We designed it. Does it actually look like it? And production cases, right? Because mining, the biggest thing is how can we move material as fast and most efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
And so that's the core of it is like taking, we know there's tons of geospatial data being collected, and we know that they're trying to make operational gains somehow from it. So that was a big focus. And in kind of the areas that we've looked at are really three. There's the surveying, call it volumetrics part of it, right? And a lot of the job of the surveyors on the mine today are
traditional.
Capturing stockpiles, design conformance, looking at day-to-day changes, reporting on that. And that really is important to feed into the long-term and the short-term planning. The second part of that is more in the production in the drill and blast world, which is somewhat, I'll admit, that's a new world for me as a surveyor.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting to learn about that. But it's really interesting to see, though, how much geospatial data wasn't used in the past for that. And now when you incorporate that into the design of a drill and blast pattern with all your explosives and your timing information, how you can start to do a lot more and be more productive in that process. And then the third area is more on the geotechnical side. I even think the last time we met, we were talking about more on the monitoring geotechnical
Yeah.
And same in the,
right up Sean's alley.
Right up my alley.
Exactly.
Speaking his language.
And the geotechnical side is interesting because there's so much tie into things that we're doing in Trimble with like more of a deformation monitoring, settlement monitoring.
Sure.
But also into geology, slope mechanics, that type of stuff. And the point is, like, we're not trying to go in and say, okay, we know everything about subsurface mechanics and all that, but the geospatial component can be an overlay and you can have some insight from that.
Oh,
that
sure.
will help you downstream with all these other aspects. So that's kind of the high level overview of it.
Sure.
What are some examples of that, of the safety component? Like from a geotechnical standpoint, it was always, there's a lot of slopes in mining. They move material, they move mountains back and forth. And anytime you get close to the edge of a slope, you always look on the ground and see if you see any cracks that are forming.
First, people don't go near the slope.
Also, don't go there. But for those that are doing work at a mine and are supposed to be there, and that's one of the things we were always taught, like, hey, mention that, because that could be a slope failure or the indication of a potential slope failure. And now I'm sure there's lots of more remote sensing, but is that a picture that you can get, from some of the geospatial data? Just say, I'm going to use the wrong word, easy button, but can I easy button and tell me if there's any slope cracking or mild deformation or stuff like that?
Sure. That would be, I'm sure there's an AI component there, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, the easy button is honestly kind of the direction we want to go. Because so much of this today is very manual. Data processing, engineer looking at whatever data they might be looking at, trying to make some assessments of that. And we're trying to get rid of a lot of that manual process so they can focus on the core information to make those big decisions like you're talking about, like slope failure or potential slope failures and things like that. So in terms of the safety component, then there's two areas. The one I'm really passionate about is the around roads and haul roads.
Yes.
You guys might be aware of this. So we have the MSHA standard here in the U.S., and a lot of countries have kind of a similar mining regulation standard. Might be called something different. But the interesting thing is, like, we always think of mining kind of like a rough and dirty, like we just build roads and build pits and take material. But there's some engineering design that goes into the roads, into the slopes, and all this stuff. But a lot of as mining moves more into remote and autonomous operations, infrastructure becomes even more important, because now you're relying on a system, a machine, to make a decision about something, as opposed to a human with some expertise. And they know where that road is bumpy because they've driven it 500 times.
Right.
And that's where the story around safety and roads comes in. So one of the models that we've got in the software is a whole road AI tool. So essentially what it's done is we trained it on a bunch of different data sets of mines and said, okay, here's what roads look like, and here's the parameters we're looking for based on these standards, which are typically things like road widths, drainage,
like slope, slopes, slope is big.
Berm, safety berms is a big deal.
Berm heights.
Exactly. Potholes, rutting, a variety of these different parameters. But instead of someone going manually digitizing that, which I know a lot of companies are today, we're trying to do that as fast as we can through AI. So automate as much of it as possible. It's AI, so it's never 100% perfect. We'll try to say that, but it's pretty good. We're looking like 80, 90% a lot of the time when we look at this data. And so we're removing a lot of that manual upfront labor of data processing. Then they can diagnose a lot clearer where all those areas are on the haul roads. And a lot of them today are doing it very manually. They might go with the GPS, might go with the tape measure and just spot check some of those berms.
I've had that job.
Probably, some poor intern is going to. And so this way you get a whole picture of the mine, right? Every berm at like a foot density across the whole thing, removes the manual piece. But what I would like about that too is we're feeding that data into like a Trimble machine guidance system. And so you could bring a grader out that now has the map that says, okay, these are the areas that are actually got potholes or the berms out of tolerance, and go fix those, instead of just a grader could run up and down the road, just hoping, we're going to actually tactically, I call it tactical grading, right? Be focused about it. And that's a big, that plays big into safety for the obvious reasons with the haul roads.
I mean, you have a truck hauling 250 tons of ore, like that. Exactly. it cannot be good enough for a truck like that.
So that's a big one. The other safety one you're talking about was the slopes and the berm and the slope stability piece of it. And so we have some different, several AI models, but one of them is around extracting the slopes. So getting your toes and crests, and then evaluating your angles, your berm widths, your catch benches, all that good stuff. But we've also tied that with a model that's been trained on wedge failures specifically. So there's a lot of different failure mechanisms, and hopefully maybe that's a direction we can go in the future of getting more of those in. We started with wedge failures because it's one of the most common. But essentially, if we know some of the material properties,
right? That's what I was going to ask. Yeah,
and we have the geospatial data, so drone flight or scan, we can then make some assessments on how, on a safe factor of safety, how likely that slope might be for a risk, right? So, and then that plays back to the tactical aspect, right? Instead of monitoring the entire pit, maybe we densify prisms in an area or tilt sensors or whatever it is, and focus on the ones that are more critical as opposed to just the whole thing.
Right. Maybe we're here already, but how close are we to like real-time decision making from like real-time collected survey data?
I think we're getting closer and closer. We're getting closer and closer on that. I think the big limitation today is the computing.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah. I mean, think about it. The geospatial data is not a small piece of information.
Right.
And I mean, all the companies here, I'm sure, are trying to solve this in different ways. I think that's the biggest challenge, and it's going to get better and better. I mean, NVIDIA and all these other companies are making better and better processing boards and so forth. So I expect that's going to change drastically. That, I think, is the biggest roadblock to get to like real-time, snap your fingers decision, right? Because today, when you process data, even if you run through an AI model or whatever it is, you're still time, right? Sure. It's 5 minutes, it's 50 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But to get to instantaneous decision making, we need to get a little bit further to the processing.
Yeah.
I think we'll get there, but it's going to take some time.
Yeah,
but if we can get from 5 days of somebody manually, a technician manually digitizing something down to 5 minutes,
sure.
I think that's
it's damn near real time.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Right.
Most things, right?
Exactly. So Mine Insights obviously sits inside the Trimble ecosystem.
Yep.
So do you think the future is less about individual sensors and more about connecting the different ecosystems?
Oh, 100%.
Is that,
no question
about
it.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think this event is a good indication of that data capture is pretty much democratized and quite widely accessible.
Yep.
I mean, when I was a surveyor, it was surveyors who were doing data capture, right? But now a lot of people are doing data capture.
Right.
In different ways and different sensors and different mediums, whether it's in a plane or a drone or on the ground. So I think the bigger thing is, how do we get from data capture to whatever insight, whatever decision we're trying to make faster, but also to make it so it's not as siloed, I guess, simple thing, right? Because you might be capturing data with a drone from one provider, Trimble GPS over here, scanner over here. You might be processing it here and there, but like working all together to get to that insight, because that's really what the end surveyor or whoever it is trying to do, is just make a decision on something. So, and I think we're making good moves from a Trimble perspective on that, things with like Trimble Connect, or we're incorporating more from other technology providers, other even service providers who are doing their own tools inside of Trimble Connect. And Mine Insights, same thing. It links into Trimble Connect. So if you're using, for example, a non-Trimble sensor, feeding data to Trimble Connect, no problem. You go into Mine Insights, no worries, right? So that's kind of the world I hope to see, and what direction we're going.
Yeah.
I got to ask, because you did mention something that kind of ties back to what you were saying before on the slope failure end, and you said, if we could get some material property in there, that's a data collection that isn't as readily accessible as all of this, all of the things that you can see. How, do you guys have a plan of how you're going to pull in other than just spatial data to those data sets?
Yeah, and I think that's there's going to be a roadmap, if you will, of how we get through that. And today, like, we already work with data from drill and blast. So like explosive material information, that kind of stuff.
Right.
The geotechnical one, I think, is a good one for us to do more with. So
almost geolocate those borings and levels and tie that together, because I'm pretty sure I know that's not happening yet, but that's got to be one of the next steps, right?
Yeah, well, and it's, to me, it's also an indication of the industry too, because a lot of these groups, your geotechnical group, your survey group, your geology group on a mine, not always are talking to each other.
Oh, well, 100% they're not talking to each other. You'd be lucky if they're in the same room ever.
And that's probably not just mining, but I'll speak from a mining context. And so I think we can help coach the benefit of that from a technology standpoint.
Sure.
There's a cultural element there, right? That it's harder to change, takes time. But that's the big thing is to your point, right? Is if we show the value of having the geotechnical data, the subsurface information, boreholes, all that good stuff, along with the drone flights and everything, see the power of what that can actually help you do, then they're help break those walls down a bit more and have these departments collaborating, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You might see a little bit merging more of these professions too, which I thought is always, a powerful professional, somebody who doesn't just necessarily stick to one lane, but also understands another, right? Your surveyor who also has geotechnical expertise or something. Right. Yeah. So but more direct answer to your question, there's.
He's talking about me, Kent.
I hear him.
Didn't say it specific.
Oh, geez.
What else you got over there?
I'm done. No, really good conversation.
You guys get many mining folks on the podcast?
No.
Sometimes when we come here, like the Aussies are a lot of times in the mining space. Yeah, it's a big industry there. Definitely. And they seem like their technology starts from the mining industry and then they take it elsewhere. And we're sometimes kind of the opposite, where we're starting it elsewhere and bring it into the mining, at least in the States.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know. I think I've gone as a surveyor. I did some work into the mines, but I was never working directly for a mine. I've grown to really appreciate the challenges and what they're doing. It's like it's a mini city.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's a big project, constantly evolving.
It has its own coordinate system. It's got its own
probably from the 60s.
Oh sure, yeah. But it's just so big, you have to do that because you can't just it's not a flat surface. Sure. You really have to incorporate everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Good stuff. What else you want to get out there, Riley? Yeah.
Yep. I think that's the big thing I would just say to everyone.
If they're interested more about finding out the mining solutions,
you can
Mine Insights.
Google the Trimble Mine Insights. I'm always happy to. People want to sync up one-on-one. They can hit me on LinkedIn as most do. Yep. But definitely Google the Trimble Mine Insights. We've got some good stuff out there. We're going to be running some webinars and some different content over the next couple months too.
Cool.
If anyone's hungry for it, so
you betcha.
Keep an eye out.
All right. Well, thanks again, Riley.
Yeah,
appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always great to sit down with you, so appreciate it.
Yeah, cool.
Keep up the good work too.
Thanks a lot.